Sometimes you might hear that,
Japanese professional wrestling is the greatest professional wrestling in the world.
and yes, I think most of us can agree on that. And something else you might hear quite often is the sentence, Japanese pro wrestling in the 90s is the greatest wrestling there ever was. Most people will think first of AJPW and their four pillars, and yes, it's definitely up there in the debate, but there was a lot going on throughout the whole country. New Japan, of course, with a countless number of incredible IWGP champs, including the three amazing reigns of Shinya Hashimoto, and the rise of Inokism, for better or for worse. The second rise of shoot style, brought by Takada and his UWFI, and by the pancrase of Masakatsu Funaki and Minoru Suzuki. Michinoku Pro and the Great Sasuke bringing junior wrestling to the front of the stage, Atsushi Onita founding FMW, and a lot of other smaller, nonetheless high-quality promotions, it was crowded. Great pro wrestling was everywhere. Before we go deeper, I'd like to remind everyone that pro wrestling is subjective to one and each, and that's what makes the beauty of it. We all like different things, and appreciating art is always going to be personal for each and every one of us. When you ask someone what is their favorite match from this period, a lot of people will say Mitsuru Umizawa and Toshiaki Kawada, June 1994. And those people are right. This is indeed one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time, a perfect synthesis of everything that makes King Road style what it is. But mine is in a company that we haven't mentioned yet. A company that will establish a standard of excellence, a company that will compete with the greatness of AJPW and the constant evolution of New Japan. Old Japan Women's Pro Wrestling, or AJW. In the late 80s and early 90s, AJW was at the beginning of a new era. Bull Nakano was still in her prime and very relevant before she left for the Fed in 94. But the likes of Jaguar Yokota, the Crush Gals, or Dump Matsumoto were slowly being replaced by a wave of wrestlers they trained. Aja Kong, Manami Toyota, the Inoue sisters, with Kyoko being way more successful in singles than Takako, or a bit later Kaoru Ito. In 85, one of those very promising trainees made her debut, Isako Uno. Unfortunately, Uno broke her neck 2 years later, after taking a tombstone from the second rope during a tag match. She will stay on the shelf for a while, before returning in 88 under a new persona that will later become the most badass wrestler in the history of the sport. She is not yet the Dangerous Queen, but she is Akira Hokuto. When we talk about the very best AJW bouts, some of you will think about Aja Kong and Akira Hokuto at the Dome in 94, Lioness Asuka and Jaguar Yokota in 85, which is one of the most important matches in pro wrestling history, or the two different matches on the same night between the teams of Kyoko Inoue and Toshio Yamada and Hokuto and Toyota. Some of you might even go with Chigusa Nagayo and Dump Matsumoto in their legendary hair vs hair match, the bloody battle between Akira Hokuto and Shinobu Kondori, or the insane 60 minutes draw between Manami Toyota and Kyoko Inoue. All of those matches are legendary, iconic, and the impact they had on the whole industry can still be felt today. But there is one match among all of them. One match that's not incredibly long, not a tournament final, not a blood feud match, not even a title match. It happened on September 2nd, 1995, between the last two dates of the Japan Grand Prix, the eve of the final. The show is Destiny Climax, and the match is Akira Hokuto against Manami Toyota. Before we go into that particular match, we need to briefly visit their previous encounters. They had 5 singles matches during their careers, and this is the last one of them. They first met on what was supposed to be a small, ordinary, lower card match, June 17th of 1990. But that's not what happened. They shook hands before the bell, a detail that will come back later, and goes to a hot start with Toyota spamming dropkicks, while the crowd is rooting like all hells for Hokuto. But that fast-paced and competitively even action will quickly stop, 7 minutes after the match started. Manami Toyota goes to the top rope for a moonsault, but Hokuto dropkicks her to the floor, goes up to the turnbuckle, dives over the post for a crossbody that Toyota dodges. Unfortunately, her leg badly collides with the metal barricade, breaking her right knee. Toyota gets back in the ring without realizing what just happened, and a few minutes pass while Hokuto is laying on the floor, clutching her knee in what looks like atrocious pain on her face. And then, one of the most badass moments in wrestling history. She tries to get up, crawl back in the ring, and stand up on her shattered leg, a fucking compound fracture, begging the ref to not stop the match. She then immediately stumbles and falls back to the ground, and the match ends here. This will take her out of action for only a month, but this one will never really heal, as she stacked up other injuries to both her legs during the years, leading to the big storyline around her fucked up knees during the V-Top tournament. They would go at it again, 2 months later, in a match that hasn't ended in horrific injury, but in a 30 minutes time limit draw. This time, Hokuto declined the handshake, but not by despise, more by anger towards herself, remembering what happened last time. In the ring, Toyota and Hokuto surely were never friends, but they never really were enemies either. They were rivals, in the most competitive spirit there is. They faced each other again in January 91, where Toyota successfully defended her whole Pacific title. Hokuto will come with a cast on her arm, as you maybe know that she was injured all the time and we never really had the chance to see her at 100%. That Toyota rips very early in the match, still after shaking hands on the start. 60 minutes in, Toyota have Hokuto in a nasty armbar, and Hokuto's tag partner in the Marine Wolves, Suzuka Minami, throws the towel in for her. But Hokuto didn't give up, so the score between the two still need to be settled, clean and middle of the ring. They will cross each other's path during a few tag matches for the next 2 years, and even briefly teamed together during the 1993 Tag League The Best, before meeting again in the 1993 Japan Grand Prix semi-finals. At this time, Hokuto has debuted her Dangerous Queen gimmick the year prior, rebranding herself in the icon that everybody have in mind. This is a terrific match. I can only encourage you to watch it if you haven't done it already. We won't spend much time on it, or this video will go on forever. What we need to remember here is that it is filled with callbacks to their previous bouts, and Toyota trying to take out Akira's knee the whole match. After kicking the shit out of Toyota on a moonsault attempt, Hokuto pins her with a perfect Dangerous Queen bomb. She's done it. Akira Hokuto has finally beaten Manami Toyota, and moves on to the final later this evening that she won over Yumiko Hotta. They'll have a few tag matches by the end of 93, but they'll stay away from each other during the whole year of 94. In 94 was held the V-Top tournament, still one of the greatest one-night tournaments that ever took place on a wrestling show, where Toyota will fall short against Aja Kong in the first round, and Hokuto will face Aja in the final and win, thus going along with her career. In March of 1995, Manami Toyota will end Aja Kong's legendary 850 days reign as 3WA champion, a title that Hokuto has never and will never held. She could have and should have won it when she herself beat Kong during the V-Top, but she declined, saying that it will be a disgrace to the title to defend it with so many injuries rocking her body. In April of 1995, they will face each other in some bizarre circumstances in a tag match at the infamous Collision in Korea show, promoted by NJPW and WCW. This was easily the best match on the card, but it's not really important here. Anyways, Toyota will eventually drop back the belt to Aja 3 months later, a few weeks before the Japan Grand Prix. During this instance of the Grand Prix, the show Destiny, or Destiny Climax, will be announced for September with Akira Hokuto versus Manami Toyota as the main event. Let's get to it. From the entrances, we already know this is gonna be great. Hokuto enters first, reminding me every time how cool her theme is. All in black, with a mostly white gear under that dress, drawing parallel to Toyota coming in white only to reveal a full black gear. I mean, yeah, it's the most basic symbolism you can have, but here it works, making it timeless, clearly telling the true opposite kind of story. As soon as Toyota enters the ring, she tries to jump Hokuto, but she dodges, sending her outside, and hits a flipping senton to the floor. It immediately shows Hokuto heavy lucha influences, ones we'll see during her whole career, the way she dives, and we'll see it also with her repeated Yave-style submissions. They both get back in, and the atmosphere is very, very tense, just staring at each other. They both have a very different look on their faces. Hokuto appears confident, as always, and Toyota looks very focused, almost a bit nervous. Hokuto extends the hand, and Toyota shakes it. As soon as the bell rings, Hokuto pulls her in and drops her on her head with an hammerlock backdrop. A spot you might see being referenced to sometimes. Hokuto intercepts her while Toyota launches for a springboard, but then boots her out of the ring and hits a missile dropkick to Hokuto's head. They briefly lock up before Hokuto starts to slap the shit out of her.
北斗選手は復帰後は、全く当たってはいないんですか？
そうですね。当たってないですね。これはマウントポジションというよりは。
She then locks her up in a really tight sharpshooter and attempts multiple submissions techniques, including a backbending, camel clutch, pulling her hair. Toyota hits a nasty running dropkick before imposing her own slaps and hair pull. We're 8 minutes in this match, and here is the first turning point. Hokuto dodges a lariat to hit a German and lift her up for a deadly inverted Northern Lights bomb. Hokuto have the upper hand for the next couple of minutes, trying to submit Toyota, until Toyota reverses her with a Manami roll for 2 and a moonsault for 2. They go back and forth here. Hokuto attempts a dangerous queen bomb, countered by a Rana. Toyota tries a sunset flip, reversed in a power bomb and a reverse Rana. Toyota spike Hokuto with a beautiful Japanese Ocean suplex for 2.9. Japanese Ocean Cyclone suplex attempts countered in a DQ bomb for 2. Hokuto then drops her with a nasty Fisherman Buster, and Toyota bridges out, but Hokuto locks her in a stranglehold gamma. Toyota immediately reaches for the ropes. By the way, after watching countless hours of Joshi, I always get fooled by the way they do their body slams. I always think they're gonna hit a Northern Lights. Even Atsui Shiyu, the announcer, got tricked here. Hokuto counters another Cyclone suplex in a victory roll and a moonsault with her damaged knees. Toyota does an arm drag, keep control of the wrist and hit a perfect Cyclone suplex for 2.9. Frustration starts to build up and they spill out of the ring, where they will spend the next 5 minutes, maybe the more memorable of the whole match, that will lead us directly to the finish. Toyota grabs one of the ringside tables, sets up Hokuto, goes on the top rope and full force splashes her, with the table not moving by an inch. At this point, Hokuto hasn't responded for a few moments, and Manami Toyota does what Manami Toyota do. She's gonna take a crazy bump. She attempts a topic on Manami, her springboard senton to the outside, but Hokuto rolls on the side, and she comes crashing on the floor, destroying her back. You can hear a loud thump,
また飛びますか。
and you can tell this one hurts a lot. Hokuto briefly checks on her, cause injury have been haunting her during her whole career, but she drags her to the other tables and simply spike her, almost Gonzo Bomb style, on the table. She then throws the table near the ring, almost taking the heads off of a few ring crew members on the way, leaving Toyota applying ice on her head. She drags her and drops her again on the table, before hitting a diving senton, bouncing and hitting the back of her head on the barricade, cause that table either didn't shake. They both weakly get back in the ring and slowly stumble back, the exhaustion and damage really settling up here, before Toyota grabs Hokuto and murders her with a Northern Lights bomb. Hokuto is starfishing in the middle of the ring, not moving at all, and Toyota is really struggling to get back up. And then she picks her up for a second tremendous Northern Lights. 1, 2, 3. In 20 minutes, Manami Toyota closed the last chapter of one of the best feuds in wrestling history. On a little scary note here, after the bell, Toyota has had the time to celebrate for a couple minutes before exiting the ring. And during this whole time, Akira Hokuto hasn't moved a muscle, attended by multiple people. Other wrestlers try to get her up, unsuccessfully, as Hokuto clearly appears unconscious. No injuries were reported, but today I still don't know if Hokuto was concussed or if she was simply selling. And it was it. The last match between Akira Hokuto and Manami Toyota just ended, filled with callbacks, tension, suspense, high-paced action, high risks, and awe moments. This one is my favorite because it just has everything in it. It's concluding a career-defining feud, takes its time to synthesize what this whole story was about: competition. Nothing personal in appearance, but it became deeply personal because they were both looking to answer a simple but utterly important question in their eyes: who's the best? That rivalry ends here, but that competitive spirit will live on and on. Modern wrestling has been influenced a lot by AJW, and particularly by those two. They've inspired many, and their legacies are carried by a lot of wrestlers. Most mainstream example being Mercedes Moné. This rivalry, and their last match, was and still is very important to wrestling. And at least it's important to me. 10 years after this match, All Japan Women held their last show, April 17th, 2005. A while ago now, AJW has died, but its spirit never got away, and a short 5 years later, that spirit will find a new host. But that's a story for another time. Goodbye.